Thank you, Tom. Mr. Tom, let me know the sound was off for some reason. Okay, so we'll start over. We're going to do Kathleen Speranza tonight, and we were just taking a look in black and white before color just to see that value really is where it is at. Where it is at. Notice how the leaves, not the petals, but the leaves behind it are kind of ghost silhouetted down here in the bottom corner and then come to more full realization right next to the white petals. All right, so you see how that's less and it moves to more. So even in silhouette, you can have less to more. And did we talk about shapes? How are some of those shapes and edges in there? Again, part of the reason that we look at these paintings is to show us what's possible, right? What a brushstroke can look like, what brushwork can, what is possible in brushwork. Right? I'd like to challenge you to take a picture of one of your paintings of the edges of it and blow it up. And is it interesting on this close-up level? All right, well, let's look at this thing in color. And then I do want to go to Procreate when we get close. And then if there's some time left, we'll look at a few more of her pieces. So now this is the piece in color. And again, before we get started, just take a second and look at it with your own eyes. What do you see? What do you like? What do you not like? Are you attracted to it? Are you not attracted to it? All of those reactions that you're having is giving you yourself important information on your taste, on maybe on how you would like to work, right? And it's possible to work in one way and actually admire a completely different kind of work. But these are good things to know about yourself. So let's leave the photos for just a minute. And go to the chalkboard. And as I was saying earlier, you know, the silhouette of these leaves, how do they differ from side to side? Do you see that? That's quite a difference. Again, the bigger the change, the bigger the experience. So, when I say the word shape, did you ever imagine anything like that? When you look at this edge, how does it change? Is that different than that? Different than that? Different than that? It's those little subtle things that make a big, big, big difference. What if I just said, you know what, that's such a beautiful edge. That is so beautiful. The edge and the shape of the contour of that flower is so beautiful. I just really want to get that exactly right. And this is just so beautiful. Let's get it exactly right. And then what? Okay. So let's look at some close up at a few closers. Uh-oh, we still having. All right, I hope everybody can hear me now. All right, we started off a little quiet, but I think we got it figured out. So I want to talk about two things tonight. One is brush stroke, and then the other is color. So what I'd like you to notice, can you tell what happened there? That's beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. That's a wonderful way to put it. So if one could paint an exhale, it would look like this flower. Yeah. Yeah, and again, an exhale, a release. A release. And by the way, I know you guys like to stare, right? I know you guys like to stare, but what's happening back here? What is that transition doing? Did you guys see that subtle movement in the background? All right, basically what's going on, we saw some of this in Clyde Aspavig's paintings. In his, he had a road. It was actually going the other, I think it was bending this way if I remember right. And then it was divided like that between the hill before it went. Well, that, right, is interrupting this. So it's an interruption. And another way to say that is there's a stroke this way, and then we could go across it to soften it up a little bit. So it looks to me, now there's many ways to do this, but it looks to me that what happened was probably with the palette knife edge, there was some white paint laid down, really thin and sharp. And then with a very light touch, it seemed that she scraped across it. Right? I don't know if she uses fan. It doesn't really matter what tools you use, because unless your paint consistency is exactly the same and the humidity is exactly the same and the temperature is exactly the same, right? The material is the material. It's what do you need it to do, and in different environments you need different things to make that happen. But basically it's laying a brushwork this way and then working opposite to soften or slow that down. Okay, it's a very, very simple concept that's extremely effective, and you can clearly see it in some of her. You know, notice that this isn't a hard line from here to here. Right? A line is implied. But how do each of these sections differ? So all we're doing here is basically tuning your nervous system, right, into some of these little finer movements. Even from more to less. And that's really the beauty of her work. I mean, there's many things beautiful, but it's that variety of transition, basically. Right? Variety of edge. All right? How many of you see a petal on the ground and you go, oh, okay, well, it's like that. Now what do I do? And I'm laughing because I used to do that too. It's how we start. But the reason we look at master painters, these beautiful masterpieces, is so that we can see how else it might be done. Right? Could it be done in a more beautiful way? Tell me something. Do you see a single color note there? Or a single brush stroke? No, there's a few of them in combination and not right on top of one another, but sometimes overlapping. Sometimes not. This is another brilliant illustration of that, just kind of working across, just a light brush, slight brush across the edge to soften the edge. Okay, but what I wanted to look at this one was if we called this the core shadow, how does that let's just call it the shadow, the original shadow. How does that move? How is that different from that? So, not unlike the skin tone we were talking about today, some of these things can get broken up. Notice the yellow warm is grouped, right? It's not like there's that same spot is in placed here and placed here and placed here and placed. No, 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 no. There's some organization here, right? the original. The original. Warmer here, cooler here. Speaking of brushwork, so what color is that white flower? Feels like this goes this way. It feels like this is like that. Feels like this is taking off this way. This is like, you know, even when you get down small, it's interesting. There wasn't some fence builder that came up and go, I'll take 1 stroke and 2 strokes and 3 strokes and 4 strokes and 5 strokes and 6 strokes and 7 strokes and 8 strokes and 9 strokes and stroke 1,000,000, 1,000, 100, 2,000. No. No, 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 no. I almost see this as, I mean, forces of nature, currents, or look at that. I mean, they're just all such different characters. You know, I don't know. Maybe I spent too much time staring at the ceiling as a kid. I don't know. But I just see so much here. And it makes it so interesting. And part of what makes it interesting is it's not chaos. So let me ask you something. If you were to compare these two spots, which one is more and which one is less? And why? A little warmer, a little more. See how that's cooler, not as much edges in there? That more to less. That more to less. For some reason, the computer doesn't like my cameras tonight, so that's all right. We're not going to take it personally. We got paintings to look at, and that's all we care about. All right. So let's see. Hey, Susan, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So we observed some silence at the beginning of the program this evening. No, it wasn't sad. I just forgot to unmute my mic. But we just turned it into a moment of silence that we all took advantage of. So let's come back and take some more, another look. And let me, I have her name up here for you guys. Now I apologize. I don't have a date of birth for her. I looked around on our website and some other places, and I just seemed kind of rude snooping around. It's obvious she didn't want her, or it seemed to me she didn't want her birthday date there. So anyway, she's alive and well, to the best of my knowledge. Back, you can find her on Facebook. She's got some work there, and on the internet. But this is the artist we're looking at tonight, Kathleen Speranza. So that was the close-up that we looked up. Right? What does it mean to let go into the air? Right? To come out and then really catch an edge. Now that's a journey. That's a journey. The second close-up we looked at. So let's see what else we got here. So I included this because this is almost a direct insight into the artist in these little direct studies like this. But there's so much here. Can you guys see? You know, each brush stroke, I don't want to say painstakingly, but extremely thought out and careful and intentional. All right, what is possible? Before we leave, I can't leave without showing. I mean, look at that. Not the flowers. We're just looking at the background there. I mean, come on. Who doesn't want to live in that neighborhood? Look, man, that's an awesome place to be right there. In my opinion. And then look how similar colors on the opposite side. More distinct. Grade. More vague. Those background colors. The same but different. The same but different. Compare, relate. Seems like I heard that phrase more than a couple of times. If you want your painting to look interesting, make the paint look interesting. Seems like simple enough advice. You know, even that background, again, it's that background is such a huge part, plays such a huge role in the flowers looking like they do. Look at that mystery. Look at that mystery. All right, guys. So what do you think about Kathleen's work? You think she knows how to dance with paint? All right, so Susan's a fan. I think Shakti said it feels like an exhale. So what about this green leaf over here? Is one side clear and then the other side vanishes in the air? Right, that idea of being lost in the mist. So there's lots of ways to put paint down, or what you paint your matter. You know, she's known, I haven't seen at least anything recently. This is all she does are these flowers. Right? And it's, I feel almost criminal saying this is all she does. Well, I mean, how much do you need? Because it's about something, right? If she wanted a larger picture, right, it being about other things, then a lot of this would be sacrificed, because the energy that's put into, right, into the work, the painting, the artist decides where to concentrate that energy. Right? Is it going to be this, just these beautiful petals and how they work? and transition. And if that's what it's about, that's what it's about. And if you do it beautifully, you don't need anything else. But you know, for another artist, this is completely wrong. And each one of us, each one of you, we all have our own voice inside of us. The palettes, you know, are we going for these deeper, darker, richer, right, with that light coming out of it? Or do we like this overall lighter, a little more colorful, we could almost call it pastel-y kind of feeling versus the drama of like the Rembrandt, right? And then here's somewhere in between those two. It's got a little bit of both of those elements in it. And then here we're on the little bit of the lighter side. A little nice touch of dark, but it's not dark dark. And how much is it? There's not very much, so the whole thing feels lighter. Right? How much difference is there between the front flower and the back flower? Right? What's the light and shadow in the front flower compared to the light and shadow in the back flower? Okay, and that front flower moves. There's lots of variety in there. But at no point does that front flower get mistaken for the back flower. And at no point in that back flower do we ever mistake any of that paint belonging to the front flower. Okay, and that's what I mean by clarity of roles, of where we're at, of what we're painting. All right. Yeah, so shocked. It can't stand how beautiful it is. Yeah, I know the feeling. That means you're an artist where it's just like, wow, wow, wow. All right, so as you guys wind down tonight and everything, I hope you just kind of tuck all of this away in the back of your brain under the file of what's possible with paint. How active can the brush strokes look like petals unfolding? Yeah. Yeah, you bet they can. Versus air and shadow. And how much more air are we seeing that flower in or through than we're seeing this one? Quite a bit, huh? Quite a bit. Okay, guys, I think we'll leave it there tonight. So I will be doing studio time tomorrow and Thursday. And during that time, we're going to be, I will be doing our 4-value compositional study. I'll work an hour. You're going to have 2 images you can choose from next month. Since we're doing every day on YouTube, I feel like I can keep up with 2 different images in a bigger class. So I'm going to spend an hour at 1:30 tomorrow working on that. You're welcome to join me. Be back in the morning at 8 a.m. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So we'll see you 3 times tomorrow. If you can make it, great. If not, we will catch you when we can. All right. Thank you guys so much for everything. Please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. Like the video. And always, there's always more information on everything happening on our website, jasonmeyer.com. Till next time, stay beautiful, people. We'll see you later. Good night, everybody.